Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I wanted to do a reaction commentary video on the SITREP's 6 benefits that pass on to your family. Now, this is going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure exactly what 6 they're talking about, but I do know several off the top of my head. So I'm curious if I'm missing something here or if I just had a brief lapse in memory. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the home page. You'll see highlighted members there and a join button. With that, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's jump into it here and see what we have.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the SITREP. Today you've got both Mike and I, and we're tackling a tough but crucial question. What happens to a veteran's VA benefits when they pass away? But before we dive into the details, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe, which helps us to connect veterans with the benefits they have earned and deserve.
So, are there benefits that pass on to a veteran's family members? Yes, but these benefits can vary depending on factors such as the veteran's service record, disability status, and other criteria. Nevertheless, here are 6 common VA benefits that may pass on to eligible family members.
Number 1, dependency and indemnity compensation, also known as DIC, which is a monthly tax-free benefit paid to eligible survivors of certain deceased veterans. It's available to surviving spouses, children, and dependent parents of service members who died in the line of duty, veterans whose death resulted from a service-related injury or disease, or veterans who were totally disabled from service-connected conditions for a certain period of time before passing away.
Number 2.
Okay, so this is a really important one. Dependency indemnity compensation. There's a couple things that need to be explained, I think, even at the high level overview for folks, so people don't shortchange themselves and self-segregate out of being able to qualify. So because that's what many of us do with regard to the various benefits out there from the VA. We go, I don't really qualify for that, or I don't rate for that. And it's because we get little snippets of information and then we have to fill in all the gaps. So here's a couple things. In order to qualify for dependency indemnity compensation, which by the way, pays out typically anywhere between about $1,600 a month, tax-free, all the way up into the 3,000s and potentially even higher, depending on various factors such as, do you have children, how long you were married, that type of stuff. So it's a substantial ongoing benefit that is not subject to any sort of income qualifier. Okay, so you will just get that benefit. Now, in order to qualify for dependency indemnity compensation, the veteran has to have either passed away. Now, there's nuance, okay? If the veteran passed away from a service-connected condition, and what the VA means by that is a service-connected condition is listed on the death certificate as either the cause of death or a contributing cause to death. There's different parts on the death certificate. The quick example here, because this is important, is veteran did not have a heart condition listed on or as a service-connected condition. However, the veteran passed away from a heart attack. However, the veteran did have hypertension or had some sort of circulatory issue that was a service-connected condition. You could go back to vital records for your county or wherever it is for the death certificate, have them amend the death certificate and add that service-connected condition, whether it was the circulatory issue or hypertension or whatever it is, as a contributing cause of death. Okay, so still heart attack is cause of death, contributing cause of death, hypertension, or the circulatory issue, or whatever it is. Then that opens up that qualification for dependency indemnity compensation, often called DIC. So that's one thing to look at. The other piece is it's typically a 10-year, there's other variations, but for most people, they're going to fall into the, once you're 100% for 10 years, then you don't need to pass away from a service-connected condition. You can just pass away from whatever. So as soon as you hit the 10-year mark for being rated 100%, then you can pass away from anything, and that burden is lifted for your surviving spouse. Now, what I did for my spouse, my wife, is I have a folder, and in my folder, there's a bunch of partitions. One is here's Social Security information, here's whole life insurance information, here's term life information, here's some accidental death information, here's VA dependency indemnity compensation information. This is what it looks like. Here's the 10-year period. After this date, doesn't matter. Before this date, one of these conditions must tie in as either the cause or contributing cause of death. So, all right, let's jump back into this here. That's a very important benefit, I believe, is that dependency indemnity compensation. The next one is 2, survivor's pension. Let's see what they say.
2, survivor's pension. This benefit is available to low-income, non-remarried surviving spouses and unmarried children of deceased wartime veterans. Eligibility criteria include meeting income and net worth limitations, as well as meeting certain conditions related to the veteran's service.
Number 3.
Okay, so again, they're not a deep dive on it. This is just very high-level stuff. I like to call survivor's pension, and there's also a pension for veterans, but I do like to look at survivor's pension or any pension as a safety net program. This is for low and no income surviving spouses, as they said here, wartime veterans. Now, what they're looking at here is not serve in war, just served during a war. And the criteria is 1 day. You had to have had 1 day of war period service. So if you joined the military and you had 1 day during a designated wartime, then you fulfilled it. It depends. There's other criteria. One is like 24 months of time. The other, I think, was 90 days, depending on different time frames. But the bottom line is it's not serve in war. It's not be a combat veteran. It's served during a war. So it opens it up a lot. That's an important piece. The fact that it is low and no income, nobody's getting rich off of this thing. There is a sliding scale depending on, do you have dependents? Do you have other needs as a surviving spouse? Do you have housebound limitations? Do you have aid and attendance requirements? All of those factors are going to increase the amount that you could be eligible for as a maximum allowable pension rate. The way that it works, just use easy numbers. Let's pretend that your maximum allowable pension rate is $25,000. If it's $25,000, that's per year, and you have other income coming in, say from Social Security, of $10,000 per year, then that's going to be subtracted from that 25 maximum allowable. So 25,000 minus the 10,000 from Social Security leaves you with 15,000 per year divided over the 12 months. That is your pension payment. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into it and see where we go.
Education benefits. Surviving spouses and children of certain deceased veterans may be eligible for education benefits under the VA Survivors and Dependents Educational Assistance Program, also known as DEA. This program provides educational and training opportunities, including tuition assistance to eligible dependents of veterans who are permanently and totally disabled due to a service-related condition, or who died while on active duty, or as a result of a service-connected disability.
Number 4.
So that's a great benefit. DEA, Chapter 35, $1,488 per month, and you have to utilize that essentially to pay for any sort of cost that you have. It's basically a stipend that you receive in a great program for spouses and dependent children. All right, let's go on.
Home loan guarantee. Surviving spouses of certain deceased veterans may be eligible for VA home loan guarantee benefits. These benefits can include home loan guarantees, which may allow the surviving spouse to obtain a VA guaranteed home loan with favorable terms.
So here's another piece on VA home loans, just to throw it out there so people are aware. Let's just pretend for a moment that the veteran passes away. So in this case, my grandfather was a veteran, passed away. Grandma couldn't keep the house because she didn't have enough income coming in. Okay. So one thing that people need to be aware of is that a VA home loan, right? A VA guaranteed home loan is assumable. If you have a better interest rate than what the current market is, so for example, let's say you have a 2.5% interest rate on your VA home loan, and current rates are 7%. And for some reason you need to sell that house, it has an assumable loan. And whoever purchases your home can assume that loan, and they don't have to be a veteran to assume it. This helps to put you in the best favorable position as far as a seller is concerned, and make sure that you can get top dollar for that home. Just to kind of throw that out there. Hopefully that's not the case, but it's one of those situations where you'd rather know ahead of time than go, oh, I wish I would have. So let's go ahead and jump back into it and see what they have next.
5, burial benefits. The VA provides burial benefits for eligible veterans, including burial in a VA National Cemetery, a headstone or marker, burial flag, and presidential memorial certificate. Eligible family members may also receive certain burial benefits, such as reimbursement for burial expenses or assistance with transportation of the deceased veteran's remains.
Number
5, yes, all that stuff. It's not substantial, but it does. Every penny helps as far as those benefits are concerned. The presidential memorial certificate is a good keepsake, and you can go back in time. If you have a great grandfather or something that had served, or another loved one that had served and they had passed away 10, 15, 20 years ago, or 50 years ago, you could order a presidential memorial certificate. Now, keep in mind, whoever the sitting president is the signature that's on it. So that's up to you. Do what you do. You cannot go backwards in time and say, I want George Washington's signature on the presidential memorial certificate. It's whoever the sitting president is. So that's that. It's a lithograph. It's not really their signature, but it's a signature nonetheless. But they are nice, and you can order as many as you want. If you want to get 15 of them, you can order 15 copies of it. It's on a hard stock paper. It has a nice embossed presidential seal. It's got a nice little, small paragraph talking about, thanking the veteran for all they did for the country and so forth. It's a nice keepsake and hand-me-down for generations. So I suggest getting those. It's just nice to have them. Also, it's not a VA specific benefit. It is kind of a pass-through, I guess. States. Your state most likely has veteran cemeteries as well. Those veteran cemeteries that are typically run through the Department of Veterans Affairs for your state, so whatever state you're in, would typically manage those cemeteries, but they mirror the look and feel of the federal VA cemeteries. So they offer the same stuff, they utilize the same things, they have the same eligibility requirements and so forth. So something to also keep in mind, because sometimes these federal cemeteries, I mean, the closest one might be 5 hours from you, where you might have a state one that's 30 minutes from you. And so it's something to think about. All right, next one here. Let's see what they say.
Number 6, healthcare. Certain family members of deceased veterans may be eligible for healthcare benefits through the VA, such as CHAMP VA, which is the Civilian Health and Medical Program of the Department of Veterans Affairs, for spouses and dependents of veterans with permanent and total service-connected disabilities. To learn more about CHAMP VA or any of these other benefits, be sure to check out the video description below.
As always, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes of the SITREP.
All right, so that concludes it. Now, I will tell you that CHAMP VA is great. Champ VA kind of has two roles it can play. It can play as a supplemental secondary insurance for you if you already have coverage, or it can become the primary insurance if you have no other coverage. Now, if you transcend that during your time, let's say that you do have another insurance in place and Champ VA is a secondary to that insurance, then you change and you get rid of your primary insurance and you need to move Champ VA as the primary, it does not automatically happen. You need to reach out to Champ VA, call them, call the Champ VA phone number and let them know that you would like to make it the primary and you have no other insurance. You need to do that so you can get all the benefits that it has as a primary insurance. So it's just important, whether you're getting your prescriptions or you're getting other medical care and so forth. So with that, we'll go ahead and conclude it there. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong. As I look for the end button. I appreciate you guys.